Spring Initializer is ultimately a web application that can generate a Spring Boot project structure for you. It doesn't generate any application code, but it will give the basic project structure, either Maven or Gradle. It depends on your requirement. Okay. So here I'm creating the project structure. I'm using Maven and language Java and a Spring Boot version. Here you have to create a group, com.xml, artifact ID, Spring Boot. Here it is my first project. So com.example of Spring Boot. You have to choose the Java version. Here I am using 8, and the dependencies Spring Web, because I am using RESTful API, and I need a database, H2 database, and other dependencies like JPA. I need to integrate with the JPA. Okay, here you can explore, like you can edit the code and you can download the copy. Here I no need, actually I'm going to generate this code. So this is the structure. Okay, it was downloaded. I am extracting the structure, Spring Boot first. Okay, done. Here you can import Maven project, existing Maven project. Here I am importing the project structure. You can see the pom.xml. Finish. It's building actually. Okay, done, almost done. We have to fix the runtime. Properties, facets. Okay, runtime, choose server, apply. Okay, done. Apply, close. Yes, done. It is the entry point of the application. Usually this Spring Boot application which enables the Java based configuration, which is nothing but at configuration, at component scan, at enable auto configuration. So features. So now we are going to add some data to the database. Okay, so here I'm creating the table, employee table. So I'm going to add first name, last name, mail ID, get, and save, update, delete. So all 4 operations we are going to do by using REST API. Okay, for that I need a interface and controller, then one class, that is entity bean. Okay, that's all. Then custom exception. Okay, here I'm going to create a interface first. Okay, so I need to segregate the package. So I'm creating the package here, Spring Boot first repository. Repository is the interface of this project. Okay, good. Okay, inside this package I'm going to create an interface. That interface name is employee repository. Okay, done. Okay, so I'm going to enable this interface act as a repository. Okay, which is nothing but this class I'm annotating as a database, like it is in a persistent layer. Okay, I am just importing the dependencies. Okay, I need you just look at the POM. Okay, here we have to check all the dependencies are added. Okay, here no need for, here we need to add some pom.xml. Okay, so this pom.xml, here I'm accessing the repository which under JPA. So I need to put the dependency of Spring starter of JPA. So it's already there. Okay, imported successfully, and I am extending this interface JPA repository. So usually JPA repository, it is a JPA specific extension of repository. It contains full API for CURD repository and paging and sorting from the database. Here I am accessing the bean entity class. Okay, now I have to create an entity class. So for that I am going to create a package. Name is model. Under this model, I'm going to create a class employee. Okay, fine. Okay, just clear this package. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to mark this class as a table. For that I'm going to give at entity and table. So this at entity, which it denotes, I'm going to map this class to a table. So table, which is nothing but employees, it's one of the table under the database. So now I have to give auto generated value. Strategy is equal to generation type auto. That is, I'm going to generate the value by auto, and I'm creating some fields. Okay. Okay, then fine. Now I'm creating a getter setter method. For that you have to go to source, generate getter setter method, select all, generate. Okay, fine. So while declaring this ID at column, I'm creating the column in DB. Column name is equal to first name. Okay. Similarly, Okay, then okay. Okay. So while get first name and mark as the column, it's not nullable. So for that, name is equal to first name, comma, nullable false. Okay. Similarly, I have to do okay. 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 So now we have created interface class. So now we can go for controller. Okay, fine. Okay. Package. Controller. Inside the controller, if I can make it as a employee controller. Okay, so I'm going to make this class as REST controller, and I'm passing the URI. This REST controller, which was introduced as Spring 4.0 to simplify the creation of RESTful web services. It combines the at controller and at response body. So I'm putting this REST controller and request mapping. In this request mapping, it is one of the common annotation used to web applications. Like it handles HTTP request and some handler methods of MVC like get, put, post, delete, patch. So here we go. This controller. I'm going to access the interface of employee repository. So I'm going to auto wire this. So this auto wiring is nothing but enables you to inject the object dependency implicitly. So it internally uses setter method or field or constructor injection. So it can't be used for primitive or string values. It works reference only. So here we go. The next I am accessing this employee repository. Okay. Here we can use one of the request mapping at git mapping. Here the path. I'm going to get the data from the table. I'm returning this list. Employee registry dot find all. So I'm going to create a list. Okay, so this is for getting all the records. So now I am accessing according to the ID, like first record, second record. Okay, for that here I am creating one entity. Response entity. Here if not, okay, this response entity which returns the complete data. According to that, I'm going to get the data uh, based on the request. Here I'm creating the bean of this class. By accessing this repository, find by ID, employee ID. If not, or else it will throw the exception. Okay, here now I am going to create a custom exception. So for that I'm creating on package here dot exception. This exception I'm creating the class like if unable to get the employee ID, it will throw some exception like a resource not found exception. Okay, this is the custom exception actually. Here I'm set the response code as not found actually at response status. So this response status, which is nothing but it is used to annotate the JSON from the client. It is a server side controller actually, response status. So I'm passing the value. Okay. Private static final serial version UID. Returning the response as a message. Okay, this exception I'm going to use the controller. employee not found, employee ID. Yes. Okay. I'm returning this entity. Entity dot okay of body. Inside I'm passing this employee. Okay. Here we can remove the error. Okay. This shows find all undefined in employee repository. Okay. Okay, now I am going to put mapping, post mapping. Okay, so here at valid, this at valid used to I am checking the data is valid or not, and at request body it is used to the handling the HTTP request onto a Java project, Java object. It annotates the HTTP request and inbound processing the HTTP request. Here I'm going to save all the record and I'm returning. Okay, next put mapping. I'm going to update the record actually. Here I'm I have to pass the request mapping. This method, in that I'm request method post. Here I'm creating the entity, response entity. This token invalid member value where's request mapping. I'm passing the value and request method is post. Okay. Okay, value. Okay, fine. Get employee ID. I'm going to update the employee. Update the employee at path variable values equal to ID. Long employee ID. Or else throw this exception. Okay, here I'm creating the employee. Find by ID. Okay. So now in this case, so I'm creating, getting the value from the data. Okay. So employee dot set first name from employee details. Okay, here I have to pass the employee details from the employee. So for that I need a request body. Employee details through this exception. So from this employee, from this entity, I'm going to get first name. Okay. Similarly, I'm using all the data, all the record. Okay. Set last name, set email ID, get email ID, get last name. Okay, fine. I'm returning the entity. Okay, updated employee repository dot save of employee. Okay, I'm going to save this entity in the repository. Now I can pause this date mapping. Okay. I'm deleting the record according to the ID. Okay, so for that I need a I can use this, it's fine for me. So here I need a map of okay, delete employee. Okay, I'm going to fetch the ID, employee ID, title map. Must return. Okay, returning map. Okay, okay. Now I'm going to delete the record from the repository, delete by ID. Okay, that's all. Here you have to add the application properties. So you have to add this property and you have to connect the database. Okay, for that you just go to your database and configure your H2 database. I'm going to give the connect. Again, encounter the problem, error for connection. So now I'm creating a new connection. Okay, root testdb being failed. Okay, just connect your jar properties, user ID, connection. Okay, saying succeed. So okay, finish. Have to connect. Okay, database was connected actually. Here it just come Spring Boot application. Now you can run your application. Yes, it was started. Now you just go to Postman client. Okay, Postman, which makes easy to test actually. Okay, sign in. Okay, here I have signed in my user. So here you just go to create the request in collection. Here I am giving uh, one request actually. So this is the ID. This is the request mapping. Okay, so here I'm using localhost :8080/API/v1/employees/1. I'm going to save the record. So for that I need to use post mapping. Post body raw. Okay, first name Kartika, comma, last name Logan, comma, email ID colon kartikalooks@gmail.com. Okay, here I'm finished my raw data. So now I'm going to add this data to the H2 database. Let's see what will happen. Okay, here I'm choosing, this is a JSON format. Okay, sending the request. Okay, here I am getting 405 method not allowed. So which means message method not allowed. Okay, fine. Okay, 200k. Okay, it's saving as null. Okay, let's see what will happen. Okay, so here I used column name as underscore first underscore name. So but here in employee class I used column name as first name. Here I'm giving first name, last name, email ID. So accordingly we have to give first name, last name. So I'm giving Kartika, last name Logan, and kartikalooks@gmail.com. So I'm going to save this record. So post mapping, I'm not passing any ID. So here I'm saving this. So If it is 200k, the status is good. It was saved actually as a second record. Okay, again showing null. Let's see here, n is capital and id also capital. Now I am adding Molly, Logan, Molly looks. So yes, it was done. If I'm going to fetch all the records by giving employees, see it having two records. First record I have deleted actually. So if I want to see the second record, it show only the second record. If I want to update the record of first record, Kartika, I'm going to update the record by using put. Usually here put posting, I am updating the record. Okay, it was updated. If I am going to see all the records, then you will understand how it was worked. Okay, again it's showing null, null, null. Okay, fine. Last name, email ID, first name. If I'm going to delete the second record, yes, deleted true. Okay, that's all. Now this video you can understand some annotations in Spring MVC REST API. Thanks for watching. In next video you can see some remaining annotations and other contents.